Hello everyone and welcome back to coverage of Grand Prix Toledo for the MSEM format. I'm Caillou and today we're going to be watching the round 2 match between RickyRickster, who's on Blue-Red Burn, and Mako, who's playing Abzan Persistocrats. Ricky's deck is pretty self-explanatory. Play cheap haste creatures, throw bolts at their face, kill them dead very quickly. Meanwhile, Mako's deck is an aristocratic deck which uses cards like the new Endless Helpless Souls as value engines, and then also has infinite combos with cards like Grim Armory. So essentially, you get a persist creature, a sack outlet, Grim Armory, loop them infinitely. You know the drill. Persist is a very breakable mechanic, and that is no less true in MSEM. So it presents a powerful aggressive clock while also having the ability to just combo off. But of course, that becomes a little bit more difficult when your opponent is planning to kill you dead first. Ricky not hitting a second land, which kind of hurts for being able to play these Brazen Sacrilege and Rikiri Dissident. But right now, it seems like it doesn't quite matter because Double Banished Companion is a hell of a clock. And Mako is having to lose life to their own mana base as well. Will be able to get free green here off the Fungal Mire. But then to be able to get white is going to have to crack one of these Barren Desolations, just freely shocking themselves. Now I think the question here is, yeah, you probably just put down the Imten Mother, and then try to trade. Alternatively, you could, oh no, but you can't trade. You can only, I guess you just put down the Imten Mother, and then try to Endless Helpless Souls next turn, and then hope to just combo off. Because if you don't combo off, you kind of just are in a losing position. Still, Ricky not hitting a second land is really going to give Mako some time to just if Ricky had hit a second land on curve, this game would be functionally over now because would have been able to bolt last turn, double bolt this turn, and that would pretty much be curtains. Okay, Mako going to chump one of the banished companions with Imten Mother. I almost wonder if Mako should have just left it around and tried to Endless Helpless Souls next turn, because I feel like you're not winning this game in a traditional matchup sense. Okay, Ricky's going to orchestrate the Storm Surge, makes sense. Doesn't need to play a bolt this turn, and this lets Ricky wait and see if there's an important target to kill. Okay, Scion of Fecundity. The problem is, again, to get this white has to actually give up some life, but the Scion can trade with a Banished Companion, and grabbing combo pieces is pretty important. The thing is, it's going to be 1 mana off. If Mako could Scion of Fecundity, grab a 1 mana Persister, and then 1 mana Persister plus Imten Mother plus Grim Armory just kills. But can't do that next turn since it needs 5 mana for Grim Armory plus Imten Mother plus 1 mana Persister. So it might just be 1 turn off and might just die. Alternatively, they play 1 mana Persister next turn and then play Endless Helpless Souls and then try to hit both other halves of the combo, but it's a little bit of a... I mean, I think it's their only valid play, but it's a little bit of a risk. And it just dies to... Wait, does... Oh no, Ricky does not have instant speed burn, so it does not die to any of Ricky's current burn. Mako could also just play the Endless Helpless Souls right now, and if they hit a 1 mana Persister, they can just combo off next turn. Okay, he's going to play Scion, and I don't blame them for this, because if they hadn't played this, they would just lose next turn, because Banished Companion swings in for 4, and then you take 6 from Storm Surge plus Basalt Charm. So, I mean, the problem is how do you win if you can't combo off next turn? Yeah, it gets the Wayward Afflicted, so it has to, next turn it has to play the Forest, Wayward Afflicted, Endless Helpless Souls, try to get the combo, otherwise they just lose on the spot. And finally, the second land for Ricky. Will they even get it next turn? I don't think so. Rogar's Gambit kills the Scion, Storm Surge on face, and then 4 from the Banished Companions, 3 from the Basalt Charm. That's game. And Ricky, despite being stuck on 1 land for most of it, turns out Double Banished Companion is a pretty hefty piece of pressure on its own. So in under 5 minutes, Game 1 wraps up. So we're going into Game 2. So out the side for Mako, Prophet of Pacifism seems pretty not bad here. It's a little slow, but the ability to just double fog and essentially counter several burn spells seems quite ideal in this matchup. Sacrificial Bull for gaining life is not bad here. It can also exile Brazen Sacrileges and Rogar's Gambits from grave. Pitwilt as removal, maybe? But yeah, I think you probably bring in Pitwilt, Prophet, Sacrificial Bull, take out some of your more mid-rangey cards. Like, you don't need Leja's Greenblade here. Yeah, and then I'm not sure what else you would take out, but probably some of your weaker persist cards like Festering Wave. I could see that. The Festering Wave does win the game with like Cleanup Crew, which is kind of an important part of it because it means that your sack outlets don't need to be a win con on their own. So, but yeah, I think bringing in the interaction versus burn is definitely quite important. Meanwhile, on Ricky's end, Rage of the Ravage preventing life gain could be relevant, but it's a little, and it also stymies the combo a little bit because they lose 1 life each loop. So unless it stymies their infinite mill because they lose before they can mill you out. And for the damage, you need to be at lower life than them for it to work. So Rage of the Ravage is actually a good bring in. Shikai's Readout is free Grave Hate, also good. I could see Forked Pillar because you want to be killing creatures as well. So I think definitely Rage in some number, definitely Shikai's Readout, maybe some Forked Pillar. That's my read on Ricky's sideboarding. Okay, looks like Mako is on a mull to 6, while Ricky is keeping 7. Once again, Ricky on a 1-lander, but has 1 land, Banished Companion, and then 5 spikes, which is pretty not bad if you want to just kill your opponent dead. Meanwhile, Mako is bottoming a Sign of Fecundity, has the Prophet of Pacifism, so might have sided more in. And then the problem is, has an Arctic Mine here and doesn't have double basics, so it's going to take a lot of damage from their mana base. And also, like, doesn't have all the pieces of the combo in hand. Is going to need to Endless Helpless Souls for it, which is not ideal. So after Ricky swings in with the Banished Companion for 2, Mako on their upkeep is going to grab a land with the Grim Bastion. Probably want to just grab a forest here. Yeah, you just want to grab a forest here. Yep, forest grabbed. That's 1 basic down for Arctic Mine. And Mako, right after bottoming a Sign of Fecundity, draws another, but at this point needs a land. Can go Corvid Heretic plus Wayward Afflicted, and that effectively blocks the Banished Companion, and also kills it. So yep, Corvid Heretic coming down. So if you're Ricky, do you point the bolts at face, or do you point them at the creatures? I think you just point them at face, especially since you have 2 lands, and you have a whopping 6 bolts, coming up to 18 damage on its own. That just kills Mako if they don't have any life gain. I think that you can just keep the Banished Companion, or you can attack with the Banished Companion to force them to lose one creature and then persist the other, and then you can just go full ham with the bolts. You're not actually gaining more out of killing one of the creatures with the Scorch. And if they don't double block, then cool, you just have a faster clock. Or if you're scared about them killing you next turn, you can just kill the Corvid Heretic and then pass. Okay, Ricky going to start off by orchestrating a Storm Surge, and then Basat Charm, using the Basat Charm to kill the Corvid, Storm Surge at face. So it looks like it's at least going to kill the Corvid, and then that way can keep attacking in with the Banished Companion. I mean, I think the thing is, it doesn't really matter because Wayward Afflicted, like, double fogs it. Oh no. Yeah, at first I thought that Mako wasn't blocking, but yeah, Mako's going to block it. Wayward Afflicted goes to 0-1. I think the problem now is that Ricky doesn't quite have lethal from cards in hand, which is why I think the double bolt on face approach is better. But I can also see killing the Corvid Heretic being like saving your, because you don't know that Mako doesn't have the combo, so you want to protect yourself from just being comboed out. Okay, Mako paying 2. I think this is an endless, like you get a Plains here, and then you Endless Helpless Souls, presumably. It gets a Swamp. I'm interested in seeing if there's a reason for that, for needing double black here. Could also put the Scion of Fecundity on board as a Banished Companion blocker, but yeah, okay. It's going to Endless Helpless Souls. Just try and find the combo out here, turn 3. So needs Sack Outlet plus Grim Armory. Well, okay, looks like they do have the Grim Armory. Looks like they're waiting to decide what the next card is. Oh, do they not have another hit? Looks like they didn't. It looks like it was 3 lands plus a Scion of Fecundity, so Grim Armory is going to be the only hit. But next turn they can untap Scion of Fecundity, dig for the other piece of the combo. They also did just bottom 4 other irrelevant cards, so they could naturally draw a Sack Outlet. If you're Ricky, you could, like, One cheeky thing that you one cheeky thing that you could do is you could swing with Banished Companion. Main two, if you're scared of the combo, you just Scorch and kill the Wayward Afflicted, and then you know they don't have a Persist creature, so they'll need both another Persist creature in hand plus a sack outlet. Mako gonna trade off the Wayward Afflicted. Interesting. I'm actually surprised by that. Main two, Unjust Sentence on face, and then I'm presumably a Suitor of the Sea. So Unjust Sentence just Lava Spiking. And then he's gonna Scorch face. Interesting. I'm surprised by this because I feel like Suitor of the Sea just basically does the same thing, except buy you some more time if they have a wipe, if they have a life, or if they have life gain, you can just grind them down, and then you have an onboard source of continuous damage. What's the play here? Because Mako can't play the Prophet of Pacifism and also have it up to Fog. They can Scion of Fecundity for like a sack outlet here, and then untap and kill next turn. Of course, the problem is, I think their only play is play Scion of Fecundity, tutor up Imp Den Mother, hope they don't have it. The problem is Ricky does have it, so I think this is just going to be a quick 2-0 and a handshake unless Mako has a play that I'm not thinking of. So yeah, Mako is playing the Scion of Fecundity, presumably to tutor up a sack outlet to get the last piece of the combo. Makes it into a 3-3 off the Grim Armory, interesting. And yep, does tutor up the Imp Den Mother, but it's going to end up being a turn too slow. Ricky top decks, and with Mako tapped out, is going to run out the double Scorch, and that's exactly lethal. And with that, Ricky takes the quick 2-0 over Mako. And I think that's just to show that last month there were a bunch of nerfs to burn, specifically red-black burn. But I think what we're seeing is that despite the lots of the lava spikes being in black being cut, the red core is just as strong as ever. And Ricky drew one blue card that game, didn't play a single blue spell either of those games, was stuck on 2 lands for most of those games, but then it just came down to having the density of those red lava spikes makes it such an uphill battle unless you also have life gain or a way to mitigate it. And in the end, Mako was just such a linear deck that they didn't. And unfortunately, because they needed to spend that one turn on turn 3 to take that turn 3 off to tutor up their combo piece with the Scion of Fecundity, they just ended up losing it all. But yeah, what a set. And I think Mako is, as far as I know, I think that's their first loss. They're still not out of contention for the top cut. Meanwhile, Ricky is well on their way. So I think both of these decks are explosive while also having the ability to just grind out your opponent in certain circumstances. So, well, more so for Mako's deck than Burn. But both of them share that thing of, well, you need to interact with me or I just kill you. And you need to have multiple pieces of interaction or I'll just keep putting pressure on you to kill you. I think that's a winning formula. So don't count these decks out, don't count Mako's deck out yet. And I'm sure we'll be seeing more of these decks throughout the rest of the tournament. But until then, this is going to be Caillou signing off.